it's not often that there's something more than 100 years old and it's still working, still in really good condition, and it can still be used today.
And really has a style all its own. For the Utley brothers in Detroit, what they're doing in their shop carries on the work of their family, and still they're using the original pieces of equipment first used 70 years ago. Photographer Alex Atwell shares their story that is uniquely Detroit.
I'm constantly amazed every time I walk through the studio and find old wood fonts that I know that my grandfather had actually used. We're in Utley Brothers Printing. It's our grandfather's business, 70 years old.
Our grandfather started this company when he came back from World War II with his brother.
This space is really where the true craft is. This space is our letterpress studio, filled with all of our grandpa's old wood fonts, metal fonts, presses.
I mean, these wood fonts, some of them might be 80 years old.
We even have a handmade cut in there that he made 1941, Bob Utley, and a little caricature of himself. That is a 1901 Chandler and Price 8x12.
This is about as old and cool as it gets for letterpress. This is how they printed back in the day.
It's raw. It's just such a raw piece of equipment, and the fact that it can print something like you saw over 100 years later is a testament to its stability.
Our grandfather and his brother used it for religious tracts back in the 40s and 50s.
Letterpress is a very tangible process. Compared to higher technology, newer forms of printing, it's digital, it's very hands-off, it's very mass-produced. What happens in here is very manual, it's very handmade. It's not perfect. Every piece is unique. It requires some sweat.
I'm sweating and my quads are kind of locked up a little bit.
Letterpress, you can feel it.
The difference between this and high-tech printing, for one, is the impression that this press makes.
It's got an inked image on one side and a hard platen on the other, and a beautiful piece of paper in the middle. And there's a controlled collision.
It is literally letters pressing on the paper, and it leaves a really deep impression.
Smashed into the paper beautifully.
It's slow. There's a lot more artisanship put into this.
This is really kind of the heart and soul of our company. It's our DNA. My brother and I feel a connection to our roots, to our history.
It is certainly one of the coolest things we do.
I think my grandfather, he would be so tickled. He would be amazed to see all of this stuff is cool again.
So fascinating. And joining us live in studio is Ashley Harrison. Thanks for being with us. Thanks
Absolutely.
for carrying on this tradition.
Absolutely.
When you talk to customers who come to you for a custom print job, when you're done with it, what do they say? Why would they want to do it this way instead of
Sure.
the mass-produced, cheaper way?
Yeah, one of the first things you see a lot of people do is they'll grab something and they'll run their fingers over it and they feel it, because the thing about letterpress is it's very tactile.
Yeah.
You can feel it. You can feel the impression into the paper, and it's something that regular printing doesn't have.
Well, it's something too. It has character.
Totally.
That you don't see in the mass-produced laser printing.
Absolutely.
So what happens when that old machine breaks down? Have you learned how to repair these?
Well, the amazing thing about these old presses is they really don't break down. The way they are made, you just got to add some oil and a couple key spots, and they will run forever. They're amazing.
They'll outlast your quads.
Absolutely. That's no question about that.
So why don't we run something
Absolutely.
here? You brought a great note card with your letterhead on it.
This is a tabletop press from Kelsey and Company. It's from 1929 and is still in working use today. The cool thing about this piece is my grandfather sold his clarinet to buy a press very similar to this. So this is kind of the origins of Utley Brothers right here, and it's neat to have a press like this back in our shop and in our possession. It's really neat.
All right, you're all inked up.
We're all inked up. We got some red ink on here. It's going to get some ink from the plate. The rollers bring it down over this piece, and we're going to press down. And this is putting the impression onto the sheet. And
well, looky there.
Like, did you want to run one real quick?
Absolutely.
All right, let's jump in here.
So I have to now. Are you still making your own wooden fonts and things like that, or so I just run it?
Yeah, just run that a couple times, and now press down. Luckily, you worked out for 2 hours today.
Yep.
Push down hard.
There we
locks
go.
it in. And then pull it back up. And there you go. And one of the other cool things about letterpress is the character, or the character in the different fonts.
Right.
You know, people pay money to have fonts digitally made like this. and these are 70, 80 years old, and it's just years of abuse basically add this character.
And yet you can still do things like this that are very, very detailed as well.
And this is new modern technology. You know, the old wooden fonts, these are 80 years old.
I'm going to turn it just a little bit that way.
This is new technology. This is a polymer plate. It still does the same collision into the paper and adds the character of all the wooden fonts, but it's able to get a lot more detailed and still looks absolutely amazing.
And the best part is you kind of get the feeling that Granddad is still looking over your shoulder and just smiling.
And as my brother said, he is tickled pink today watching this.
I would think so. And your product is certainly up, I'm sure, to his painstaking standards.